Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. Now, I know Hoovers have been in headlines a lot recently, something that wasn't common from the Hoovers, but many vlogs and going on podcasts have recently put them in the spotlight, and even several Hoovers dissing each other and going back and forth on social media lately has put attention on them, to even just a few weeks back the H. Ray Hoover's hood day being shot up, leaving 8 people shot. But once again, several Hoover members have been placed in the spotlight over a recent indictment that just came to the light. This report is based on the 31-count indictment and official statements from federal and local law enforcement agencies, including the U.S. Attorney's Office, Homeland Security Investigations, and the Los Angeles Police Department. This information comes from court documents, as well as public comments made by authorities involved in the investigation. 11 alleged members of a street gang based in Los Angeles are facing federal racketeering charges, as well as being suspected in a trafficking ring. Mostly members of the Hoover criminal gang are accused of forcing victims to go on Figueroa, a known blade in Los Angeles, resulting in a 31-count federal indictment, the U.S. Department of Justice said in a news release. Amaya Armstead, aka Lady Duck, from 11 Deuce Hoover, was listed as a leader in this indictment. Now, if you've been tapped in with the Hoovers and certain individuals, you probably heard of Lady Duck. She was always on social media flexing money, living a lavish lifestyle, and always getting into incidents and fights. Lady Duck is a respected Hoover member, and her lifestyle that she flexed online was said due to her pimping, and she branded all her 304s with her name. The Los Angeles police chief would say, the exploitation of vulnerable women and trafficking them is one of the worst crimes you can commit. The victims in this case, many of them were runaways or grew up in the foster system, and were preyed upon by individuals who sought to profit off their pain. Despite false promises or luxury lifestyles, they were instead drugged and sold. The victims were required to give up all their money. The Department of Justice said a victim who refused or who otherwise disobeyed faced discipline, including assault, public humiliation, and withholding of drugs or food, and victims were also branded with tattoos. According to this indictment, from February 2021 to August of 2025, the Hoovers largely controlled the trafficking in the area. According to the indictment, from February 2021 to August of 2025, the Hoovers largely controlled the area and also the trafficking going on around Figueroa, just known as Fig. The defendants allegedly helped each other by managing and monitoring each other's women, pulling resources to rent several motels for commercial dates, disciplining each other's victims, driving each other's victims to and from the street where they got dates, sourcing third parties to create profiles for dates and also advertisement, and sending each other money via Cash App and Apple Pay. A lot of the gang members on this case were from different Hoover hoods, some being 11 Deuce, 9 Deuce, and A Trey among others, and a few other gang members from other gangs are on this case. The listed gang members on this case are Keandre Young, aka Young Pope, Niles Harris, aka N4, Avery Amako, aka Hands, Jared Evans, aka J Money, Matthew Brooks, aka Vermont Star, Darrell Robinson, aka Popcorn, known as the rapper P4K from BPS, Jalon Phillips, aka Chop'em, Brian Israel, aka Folo, Tajon Gray, aka Tiny 3, and Tommy Crockham, aka Tommy Guns. The defendants also worked together to recruit new victims via social media or in person, focusing on vulnerable girls and young women, particularly those with financial or emotional struggles or have run away from home. They also gave their victims drugs. The victims were recruited via false promises or luxury lifestyles and intimidation, and actual or threatened violence. For example, in April 2022, Tajon Gray, aka Tiny 3, and 2 accomplices drove to an area of San Bernardino, which is notorious for its 304 activity, and attempted to force 2 girls inside their car, grabbing them, but both victims broke free. In April 2024, Lady Duck and J Money utilized rooms at the Stadium Inn, a South Los Angeles motel, to traffic their victims. Police say some members of the Hoovers criminal enterprise produced rap music and videos, which often glorified the gang trafficking, drug sales, and firearm possession. Members of the gang also posted videos and photographs of their assaults on others to social media in order to intimidate their victims and ensure they're in compliance and performing commercial dates for their enrichment of them and the Hoover gang itself. The indictment also includes allegations of various other crimes, including trafficking through force, fraud, and brainwashing, transportation of the victims, exploitation, drug trafficking conspiracy, money laundering, and conspiracy to purchase firearms.
Just 2 miles from where the Olympics will kick off in 3 years, the Figueroa Corridor is where the U.S. Attorney's Office says a total of 11 gang members and associates in the notorious Hoovers street gang were rounded up and charged with racketeering and sex trafficking today, saying they exploited minors, runaways, and girls in foster care. Agents say the perpetrator was 25-year-old accused gang leader Amaya Armstead, also known as Lady Duck, who used Instagram and TikTok to lure victims.
They use social media. They make, rap music videos.
Prosecutors say this gang was notorious. Not only did they lure these victims, they also branded them, brands that you use on cattle on their body to identify them with their pimps, according to prosecutors. We are told all those people arrested did get arraigned today. We're still waiting to hear back what their plea was. We know also there's still one person that they're looking for.
If convicted of all counts, some of the defendants face a minimum of 15 years in federal prison and a maximum sentence of life in prison. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.